Dear students, Namaste. Today we are going to discuss about grade 9 English in unit 10. We do have the topic of today is that listening first, and then after that we shall be discussing about speaking also. Are you ready, students, for this? Yes, okay. Could you kindly see the slide? Yeah, we do have today's first topic is listening. So you are again welcome in this session. But before we begin, could you guess the topic of listening for today? What could be the topic of lesson? Topic of listening. Especially you can guess from unit 10 what we have been discussing about. Oh yes, you do have wonderful guessing. So that is greeting. You are right. So it is greeting culture, right? We exclusively discuss about the greeting cultures in reading text also. While we were doing grammar, we have again incorporated several kinds of activities concerning to greeting cultures of not only our country, but the countries of the world. So we discuss about the different greeting cultures of different countries, such as Asian countries or European countries or some Western countries as well. So similarly, just you can see there are several countries and some of their corresponding culture, greeting cultures are also mentioned in the slide. Could you kindly discuss about this? Oh yes. So how do you greet your mother early in the morning? Yes, definitely you say good morning. In the same way, but according to Nepalese culture, you must have to say namaste, right? Because good morning is not our culture. It depends on the English culture, right? So that is why we have to follow our culture. That's why in any time, without respect of the time, we will be saying namaste to our senior, right? Sometimes senior peoples also they say namaste to junior also. We join the palm and we bow the head as if we are praying also, and we say namaste. So same culture, same namaste culture is there in India too, right? So can you guess which is matchable out of these four for Japan? Yes, definitely you can see bowing. We discuss about the bowing in context of this unit. So Japanese people, they bow for greeting, right? Definitely it is right. So according to them, deeper bowing is for deeper respect. So similarly, can you guess which is the greeting culture for Tibetan people? Yeah, definitely stick out the tongue. And for native Maori, the indigenous peoples of New Zealand, definitely their greeting culture is completely strange for us. We discussed all about this previously. They praise the noses together, right? Okay, you are definitely right. You understood about that. So shall we move to the deeper part of today's session? Yes, okay. Now. So what do you see, what the peoples are doing in the first picture? Similarly in the second picture. Definitely, you see, the old man is kissing in cheeks, right, of the old woman, right? And you can see the two ladies, they are kissing each other in their cheeks, right? So can you guess who are they? Can you guess their relationship? Oh yes, you might be right. They might be husband and wife. But can you think that they could be friends? Because with friends also they greet in the same way? Oh yes, that could be. That means we are talking about the probability of their relationship. But actually we focus on their culture. How do they greet? Similarly, you can see women to women's, especially this culture, where it is found, do you guess? Oh yes, your guess is right. It is there in European countries or maybe in some of the Western civilizations. So is it allowed in our country? Definitely not, you are right, because our culture contradicts with this. Now please people, they feel this is strange for all of us, right? Because we do have the peculiar culture. However, our culture is also imitated by several peoples of the world, right? Okay, shall we move forward? Yes. So again, let's see, what are they doing? Is it allowed in your country? You can see a male, a boy is holding the hand of a lady. In the same way you can see. So in which country they do that? Can you guess? Yeah, it is also a kind of greeting culture, right? So, but we shall be discussing about this in our audio text. Let's wait for some minute there. Now, let's go. So now we are heading towards the audio, and then we will be playing the cassette for the 4 times. For the first time, students are expected to listen the cassette very promptly, and they do the activity, first activity. Listen the audio and do the first activity that is given. We shall be discussing about that. And for the second time, let me explain about the process of playing cassette. For the second time, when the audio is being played, after that also or within that time also, while the audio is playing, you can continuously go for second activity also in the second attempt, right? And for the third attempts of the audio, so you shall be checking your answer. Listen the audio and check your answer. And for the fourth attempt, listen the audio once again and be confirmed for your answer, right? But what you do when before the cassette is played, the questions is given to you, right? So at the time you have to very promptly and very seriously or gravely, you have to see the questions. So in this time, what you can do is that you can find out the key point, key words, because mostly in the first activity you will be getting the questions. They are just for filling the form, filling the blank space, and sometimes matchings also, or there could be very short answer for you. That's why it could be quite easy. So for that you can directly go to the questions very rapidly and try to understand about try to find out the word, because you see the gap, right? You see the gaps, and your duty is that just to fill the gaps. There are some options. So that is why you have to very shrewdly, accurately, you have to listen the cassette. Shall we move? Oh yes. Please be ready to listen the cassette. Now cassette is being played.
Grade 9, Unit 10. You'll hear a man sharing his personal experience about cultural misunderstanding.
The British do shake hands. In an informal situation, you may see social kissing, which is acceptable between men and women, and also between women who know each other very well. I knew it before I left for Britain. As I got out of the Manchester airport, a group of my friends, both men and women, were waiting to receive me. No doubt, I shook hands with the male ones, and the female friends hugged and kissed me. However, I felt it a bit awkward and embarrassing. From the next morning, there were more meetings, and everywhere I was introduced to ladies, I was kissed, and I was supposed to do the same. As it was rather embarrassing to me, I thought of a new style. I held hands of the ladies as they came closer to me to kiss, and kissed them on the hand instead of the cheeks. In the evening, my host called me and told me that what I had been doing during the day was not acceptable. She told me that only the boyfriends could kiss the ladies on the hands. Now, there was no option left for me, and I took it as normal to hug and kiss my friends. Next summer, some of my friends came to Nepal, and I had a privilege to call them home for tea. My wife and I stood at the gate welcoming our guests. Once they reached home, the men hugged and kissed my wife, and I greeted the ladies the same way. The expression my wife showed turning towards me made me feel sorry. I wish I had told her earlier how British people greeted. She must have felt much more embarrassed than I had felt in Britain. Cultural misunderstanding may sometimes cause great offense.
Yes, dear students, so far I guess that you could be able to find out the particular word which is used to fill into the blank space, right? So, we shall be discussing about the answer key later on, because still you can listen second time and third time and fourth times the same cassette. Now again, please be ready to listen the cassette, and after listening the cassette, you are expected to answer these questions. Okay, so you hurriedly read out the questions before you again listen the cassette. In real examinations also it is done. Now in the second time you are expected to answer the questions which are after which are displayed or which are given to you in examinations. Now you can again listen for the
Grade 9, Unit 10. You'll hear a man sharing his personal experience about cultural misunderstanding.
The British do shake hands. In an informal situation, you may see social kissing, which is acceptable between men and women, and also between women who know each other very well. I knew it before I left for Britain. As I got out of the Manchester airport, a group of my friends, both men and women, were waiting to receive me. No doubt, I shook hands with the male ones, and the female friends hugged and kissed me. However, I felt it a bit awkward and embarrassing. From the next morning, there were more meetings, and everywhere I was introduced to ladies, I was kissed, and I was supposed to do the same. As it was rather embarrassing to me, I thought of a new style. I held hands of the ladies as they came closer to me to kiss, and kissed them on the hand instead of the cheeks. In the evening, my host called me and told me that what I had been doing during the day was not acceptable. She told me that only the boyfriends could kiss the ladies on the hands. Now, there was no option left for me, and I took it as normal to hug and kiss my friends. Next summer, some of my friends came to Nepal, and I had a privilege to call them home for tea. My wife and I stood at the gate welcoming our guests. Once they reached home, the men hugged and kissed my wife, and I greeted the ladies the same way. The expression my wife showed turning towards me made me feel sorry. I wish I had told her earlier how British people greeted. She must have felt much more embarrassed than I had felt in Britain. Cultural misunderstanding may sometimes cause great offense.
Yes, well, students, I think you could be answering all these questions after this listening test, right? And some of you might have already done of the questions that is expected, but you are again given chance for the third attempt and fourth attempt. Now for the third attempts, you have to again check out your answer for both the activity first and second. Let me once play it. Are you ready for this? Okay, nice.
Grade 9, Unit 10. You'll hear a man sharing his personal experience about cultural misunderstanding.
The British do shake hands. In an informal situation, you may see social kissing, which is acceptable between men and women, and also between women who know each other very well. I knew it before I left for Britain. As I got out of the Manchester airport, a group of my friends, both men and women, were waiting to receive me. No doubt, I shook hands with the male ones, and the female friends hugged and kissed me. However, I felt it a bit awkward and embarrassing. From the next morning, there were more meetings, and everywhere I was introduced to ladies, I was kissed, and I was supposed to do the same. As it was rather embarrassing to me, I thought of a new style. I held hands of the ladies as they came closer to me to kiss, and kissed them on the hand instead of the cheeks. In the evening, my host called me and told me that what I had been doing during the day was not acceptable. She told me that only the boyfriends could kiss the ladies on the hands. Now, there was no option left for me, and I took it as normal to hug and kiss my friends. Next summer, some of my friends came to Nepal, and I had a privilege to call them home for tea. My wife and I stood at the gate welcoming our guests. Once they reached home, the men hugged and kissed my wife, and I greeted the ladies the same way. The expression my wife showed turning towards me made me feel sorry. I wish I had told her earlier how British people greeted. She must have felt much more embarrassed than I had felt in Britain. Cultural misunderstanding may sometimes cause great offense.
Well, dear students, I think most of the questions we have already attempted, and we guess that your answer is almost right. But for the fourth attempt, the cassette is again played for your confirmations about your whole answer. Please be serious. Are you ready for listening this? Okay, right, nice, thank you. Listen to it.
Grade 9, Unit 10. You'll hear a man sharing his personal experience about cultural misunderstanding.
The British do shake hands. In an informal situation, you may see social kissing, which is acceptable between men and women, and also between women who know each other very well. I knew it before I left for Britain. As I got out of the Manchester airport, a group of my friends, both men and women, were waiting to receive me. No doubt, I shook hands with the male ones, and the female friends hugged and kissed me. However, I felt it a bit awkward and embarrassing. From the next morning, there were more meetings, and everywhere I was introduced to ladies, I was kissed, and I was supposed to do the same. As it was rather embarrassing to me, I thought of a new style. I held hands of the ladies as they came closer to me to kiss, and kissed them on the hand instead of the cheeks. In the evening, my host called me and told me that what I had been doing during the day was not acceptable. She told me that only the boyfriends could kiss the ladies on the hands. Now, there was no option left for me, and I took it as normal to hug and kiss my friends. Next summer, some of my friends came to Nepal, and I had a privilege to call them home for tea. My wife and I stood at the gate welcoming our guests. Once they reached home, the men hugged and kissed my wife, and I greeted the ladies the same way. The expression my wife showed turning towards me made me feel sorry. I wish I had told her earlier how British people greeted. She must have felt much more embarrassed than I had felt in Britain. Cultural misunderstanding may sometimes cause great offense.
Yes, well, we believe that you have completed your answer. So, dear students, let's discuss about answer for the first activity. However, it is our expectation that you had already ticked or you had already selected the best answer, right? So listen to the audio, it was said here already, you had already listened and tick the best answer. Now you are going to tick the best answer after listening the causes, right? You said. So social kissing in Britain is acceptable between, you have to find out one options out of the three, which is the best. What could be the answer? Men and men? Or men and women? Or women and women who are stranger? There must not be stranger, right? That's why it is wrong option. Not only for men and men. The writer says that men and women. So this is the best option because we have to select the best option, you know. So this is the best options for the first questions. And now let's see for the second questions. They speak a blank space, kissing and being kissed. What could be the right word for this? Enjoyed, felt excited, or felt awkward. The writer said that he was embarrassed, right? So your answer is yes, you are right. It is felt awkward. And for the third one, the next morning the speaker, what did he do? He changed the idea, right? Okay. The next morning the speaker blank space and kissing the ladies on the hands. What could be the right options for out of these three? Stopped or started or held? Yes, your answer is started. You are right. Because he began new activities, new way of greeting. And for the fourth, what could be the right answer for the blank space? Told him about the tradition of kissing in Britain. Who told him? Who told the writer about the traditions of kissing? His wife or his host or his friend? There was not his wife with him. It is wrong. So out of these two, what could be the right? Yeah, his host called him and just she told that, okay? So this is the right answer. So for the fifth, what did you write? Which one is your right answer? His wife, blank space, about greeting traditions in Britain. His wife informed? No, she was not informed. You are right. Well, was well informed? Actually not, because she said she was so sorry. That's why had no idea. His wife had no idea about greeting tradition in Britain. You are right. So third option is absolutely correct. Now shall we discuss about the answer of second activities? Are you ready for this? Yes. What is the first question? The first question is that why did the writer adapt a new style of kissing from next morning? Please mention the structures of this sentence. Did adapt. The questions is written in past, simple past form. Yes, that's why you can also hit your questions in the same tense. What could be the answer? You can find out the writer was expressing about felt awkward, being kissed or kissing in Britain, right? So from here you can assemble your answer. You can make your answer. You can begin in this way. So the writer adapted a new style of kissing from NEXT, please correct the spelling here, in morning, because what? He felt awkward being kissed and kissing to other in Great Britain, right? That's why your answer could be there. The writer adapted a new style of kissing from next morning, NEXT, because he felt awkward being kissed and kissing to other people in Great Britain. In Britain, simply you can say. The second question is that why did he have to stop his new style? Yeah, you can get. Some of the key words are here. Unacceptable, was not acceptable. His host advised. According to his host, what he inferred, he understood that he had to stop his new style because his greeting style was unacceptable to the British people, according to the advice of his host, right? So he had done that. So, is it right? Are you sure? Okay, shall we move to the next questions? Okay. So, third question is, what would you do? What would you do if you were the same situations in writer was? Sorry, as the writer was. What would you do? Actually, it is about the conditional situations. You could not be there, but even if, what would you do if you were in the same situations as the writer was? So you can find out. We have already discussed this structure already in the if clause, if sentences in the condition, but you can answer. So I would follow the British greeting system if I were in the same situations as writer was. Or what you would do, you are getting a kind of liberty, but our suggestion is that unless we follow the same tradition and systems, there can be a kind of adverse effect, right? So according to the main objectives of the audio, what you can see is that we have to follow the same greeting cultures where we are visiting. So that is why we can also say that I would follow the British greeting system if I were in the same situations as the writer was. Right, did you understand? So shall we go to the next, fifth one? Fifth question is that who felt sorry and why? You can see definitely writer's wife, right, his wife, because these are the clues: hugged, kissed by husband, friend. Because writer's wife was hugged and kissed by husband's friend, and she could not tolerate that. Even she was not informed about that. That's why the answer is that writer's wife felt sorry because she was hugged and kissed by her husband's friend. Nice. So, the fifth question is that, is it necessary to know about the traditions of the people we converse with? Why? Definitely. Because unless we know the traditions of other peoples and we are just speaking with them, we are getting the converse with them. So in that case, it could be quite difficulty for us. We may get adverse effect. That's why definitely, yes, of course, it is necessary for us to know the traditions of people whom we converse with in order to avoid cultural misunderstanding. There might be cultural misunderstanding also. In the cassette also, you listen that the writer, in the second day, he started kissing the hands of some women's around his missions. That's why there might be a kind of cultural misunderstanding. To avoid that, we must have to understand the people's traditions and culture. Did you understand, students? Yes, we believe so. Now, shall we move towards the assignment? So, you are expected to do this assignment. So, put into practice. This assignment is also given in your text. So, talk to any person who has been to any foreign country, ask him or her about popular culture in the country and share it with your friends. You can collect and then share to your friends, or you can write it down also and you can recite and you can also speak the same thing, you can pass the same thing to your friends, right? So now we are going to start about some little portions that we left in our previous sections, that is about speaking. So we shall be discussing about picture, description of the picture and directions. Are you ready? Oh yes. So what can you see in this picture? Definitely, who is she? Is she the supporter of other women? How many women are there? Oh yes, there are 5. What are they doing? You can check out. They do have pencil and book or exercise book, note, so they are studying, right? So can you guess something more about this picture? Definitely, because these women, they are learning in informal situation for enhancing their understanding about the study, about their educations. So it is definitely for women empowerment, right? Oh yes, now let's see. The picture demonstrates that 5 women are studying, or teacher is teaching them. It seems that they are taking informal education. Why informal education? Because they don't have any prescribed attire, prescribed uniform. And according to their age, they seem to be quite older. They are not the school students, right? So the major objective of this activity, this event is that, so they have to study for enhancing women empowerment. So you can freely talk in that way. What are the things you can observe here? However, you are also advised to explain about the scene setting too also, but major focus is that you have to hit the objective. Similarly, so how do you tell the directions of your school from your home to someone else? If somebody else comes to your home and asks you how he or she can get your school. So suppose it is your school, right? So you can also say, that take this road where you are there. Where you are there, that means where is the beginning point, because you have to travel from your school, from your home, right? So you will be bringing the persons at your point, and you tell him or her, take this road till you get diversions in both of the left and right. Till, that means till it mentions, it gives a kind of confirmations that the people or the person who is going towards there must have to go till he or she gets left and right diversion. Okay. After that, what is your instruction? Your instruction is that turn right and walk 200 meters ahead. Again, you are becoming a kind of, precisely you are handling the situation. You are just handling the situation in a very conspicuous way, clear way, because you say turn right and walk 200 meters ahead. Don't go more than that. So you get the road that goes towards the cliff, and the person can see the cliff. Okay, there might be hidden case. Okay, so here also towards the cliff, and you are again hiding, you are again directing, you are again giving the precise road, precise directions, so the person, the visitor, can go towards the cliff, right? And again you say follow it till you get a temple. Or there is a remark, temple. The visitor must have to go towards the temple also. He or she should not have to ask any other passerby, because all clear direction is given, right? So, and you can find out my schools in the down plain opposite to the temple. Again you are mentioning the direction. So while we are explaining about the directions, we have to be very precious about, and we have to clear cut, we have to mention the distance or directions, and some of the words may be across, maybe behind or opposite or in front of. We can change the word according to the situation. Did you understand, student? Yes. Now your assignment is that, now finally you are expected to collect some paper cut and then explain. You can describe as free as you can. And you are expected to check out several kinds of activity in the paper card. You can collect such type of paper card from the newspaper, and even you can explain yourself, or you can ask somebody to listen to you at your home, or you can bring those materials to the school, into the classroom. You can display these all paper cards with your friends and ask somebody to say something. You can listen or you can explain. You can say something about the picture and you can ask your friends to listen to you, and later on you can have a fair discussion and you can get the resolution, right? So these are all things you can do. Even you can go to your teacher and you can explain all those things about and then get his or her feedback. So this is all about, we cover all the sessions, including all 4 sessions in the unit 10. We cover all our grammatical unit or reading comprehensions or speaking and listening, and that's all for today. Have a good day, and then till that time you will be studying. So we shall be meeting later on. Namaste.